Well, hello again, and welcome to another episode of the Hyperion Adventures podcast. I'm Tom. As always, I'm with my beautiful, intelligent Walt Disney World Resort loving wife, Michelle.
Thank you, baby. Hi, everybody.
So good to have you with us. We are recording this episode on Saturday. Yes, another recording on a Saturday.
Whoa.
This time, it's December 21st, 2019, and we are, at the Walt Disney World Resort as we speak. Not only that, we are at the brand new Disney Vacation Club Resort, Disney's Riviera Resort, and we're going to be talking a little bit about that. Yes, we're going to be talking a little bit about that as we progress into this show.
Bonjour.
Bonjour. So good to have you with us. Boy, we're going to be totally off the cuff today. It's going to be a little bit of an odd episode, probably because we just got back from the parks. We're going to cut this fairly quickly. It's been a pretty busy week, wouldn't you say, Michelle?
It is a pretty busy week. We've changed hotels already, and we're going to be changing again tomorrow, which is part of the reason why we're recording tonight, because we won't be into our next room until later in the day.
Right. So, and we have to pack up and get out of here, and it's going to be a rainy day tomorrow, and we're trying to figure out how we're going to adjust to the parks because of that. But that's our issue. I know you're all really, concerned about us being out here on vacation right now, but no, we're having a great time. And thank you for joining us today. In the future, you can find us most everywhere you get podcasts. However, the best place to find us is at HyperionAdventurespodcast.com. And while you're there, why don't you just take a second to sign up for our newsletter?
Right. We really just want to share some things with you and interact with all of you. And so we really would love if you take a moment and sign up for that newsletter. Yeah,
it'd be great. Also, we are in the midst of our final ballot for our Hyperion Adventures Disney Hall of Fame. You can also find that there we have its own webpage. If you just go to our menu, it says Hyperion Adventures Disney Hall of Fame. It'll show all the nominees, and at the bottom is where the ballot is. It just takes a couple minutes to just go through. It's only 4 categories. Just takes really quickly to go through. And if you do complete the ballot, you will be up for our giveaway, which is this beautiful Rise of Skywalker poster that we got at the D23 Expo. And hey, what better week to put that out there as a giveaway?
Exactly. It is a great poster, and many of you already participated in nominating these movies and films from these and characters in these categories. You did the hard part, narrowing it down. So now is the fun part. Get your vote in there and be entered into our giveaway.
Yes. So it's just really simple. And if you've given us either a review in the past or if you give us a review now, that will give you a second entry for your chance to win. And we'll be giving that away at the end of the month. And if you want to, yes, Michelle.
Well, I also want to give a shout out to one of our past winners, Camille, who won one of the Frozen posters. She won the first one of the Frozen posters, and she posted a picture of it. She has it framed now, and it looks amazing in their house. And thank you, Camille, for sharing that with us. It really does look wonderful in your home.
Yeah, she posted an adorable picture of it with their daughter, Lorelai. There, and her also in her Frozen 2 little outfit, and it was just as cute as could be. It was just a great picture.
Lorelai just had a birthday recently, so not too long ago. Happy birthday,
be a
Lorelai.
Big girl.
Yes.
Big girl, big blue princess. So, and by the way, you want to follow us socially? We're putting a lot of stuff out there from our journeys through the Walt Disney World Resort this week. You can find us on Twitter at Hyperion Podcast, Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest at Hyperion Adventures Podcast. And if you ever want to contact us for any reason, you can always email us at HyperionAdventuresPodcast@gmail.com.
Right. And we do love hearing from you all. We love to hear if there's a certain topic or category of topics you'd like us to cover. Please let us know and connect with us.
Yes, absolutely. We love hearing from all of you Hyperion adventurers. As for today, like I said, this is going to be a little bit different episode. We were on the road, so I don't think we'll have any Disney stories of the week, because even though we're right in the center of Disney, I've been actually not in touch with any Disney news this week. But we will be going through, first of all, we will talk a little bit about our journey to the Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party, which was my first experience with that. And we had a very interesting night. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. We are going to tell you about the Riviera Resort, give our kind of views on what it's like, what we like, what's maybe could use some improvement, but we're going to talk a little bit about that. And of course, we will give you our spoiler-free review of Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker.
So we know this is going to be a real brief recap of some of the highlights from our trip. Actually, next week's episode will really delve into a lot more of the things that we saw and did, to give some feedback if you're in the area or coming to the area, some things that you can look forward to.
Yeah, we're going to give you a full recap next week when we're a little bit more well rested. We're at home, we're back in our normal surroundings, and we're not running in and out of hotels and parks and Skyliners and everything else. But we're looking forward to sharing our entire trip with you out there. So that'll be a lot of fun.
But we do want to say we did follow one of our pieces of advice, and we did take a day where we didn't do much.
Yes, and that was yesterday because of the Rise of Skywalker. That played a big part in it. But let's get to some of this stuff that we've done that we were just talking about. We got here on Sunday. We went to the Very Merry Christmas Party on Tuesday night, and it was wet, rainy night.
Actually, thunder and lightning storms right overhead. I mean, it's the lightning strikes and then you count and it's like 1.
Yeah, it was torrential. It was actually a very crazy night.
So funny.
Yeah, it was. And there were a lot of cast members. They were having to kind of squeegee the water out of the way because the puddles were so deep. It was pretty crazy. A lot of people. Kind of every time you turned into anything that had cover, there was people huddled under it. It was pretty interesting.
They pretty much had to close every ride that was offered.
Right. There were very few.
With the exception of a couple.
Yeah, there were very few rides actually going for a good portion of the night. We kind of went through and very early on decided this is what we're going to do. We're going to tough it out. Michelle put on her poncho. I carried my trusty umbrella because we forgot our second poncho this time. And we just trucked it through the night, and we decided, look, you know what we're going to do? We're going to get as many sweet treats as we can.
Drink all the Fanta and
hot chocolate, eggnog, all the stuff. So we just okay, let's get the map out. And we had to have 2 or 3 of them because they were getting soaked as we went through the night. And we just went station to station, getting these treats. And that's how we spent the early part of the night. We didn't actually get on an attraction until, 9:40 at night. It was a little bit before the fireworks. We finally got on the People Mover. That was the first attraction we went on. And that was fun. It was also good to get out of the rain for just a little bit. And then we went over and the rain actually was starting to subside at that point. We did get to see the fireworks, which were beautiful. The new fireworks show based around Minnie Mouse is really beautiful. And hopefully they continue that on for next year's Very Merry Christmas Party.
Yeah, that was really great, especially considering that they did have to cancel the first parade showing. So having the rain subside enough to go through the fireworks was fantastic. Yeah.
So we went through that, and then pretty much everybody, I think, had enough at that point. Almost everybody, they'd had enough of the rain. They'd had enough of not enough stuff being open or whatever. So they kind of head out. We stuck around, however. The rain subsided, all the attractions open, and we were from 11 to 12. We literally walked on 5 or 6 different attractions.
Exactly.
It was glorious, along with picking up more sweet treats along the way, of course. Yes. And they were, by that point, they were just handing them out fistfuls of sweet treats. We had 5 cookies at a time. Yeah.
It was so funny at the beginning. They were one, and there was one in particular that I really wanted a second one. And I said, "Oh, can I have 2?" And they're like, "No, one each." And but like you're saying, at the end of the night, there's okay, what do you want? 5, 6, here you go.
That was great. And we also had a fun thing where we just had this fun interaction where we were just kind of standing there. We had just picked up a snowman pretzel and a Fanta, and we were just, we were actually enjoying that one at the time. And Peter Pan just walked up to Michelle and said hi and just started talking to us.
Right.
And
it was cool.
sat there and just talked to us for like 10 minutes. Just sit there, just a conversation.
In character.
It was Peter Pan.
Yes, that's true.
But really, this really good Peter Pan.
Yeah.
And really entertaining. And we just had a fun little time for like 10 minutes together. You know?
Right. That was probably one of the few interactions he had all night.
Right. Unfortunately, I had a snowman pretzel in one hand. I had a Fanta in the other hand. I had a backpack on and an umbrella nearby. And I couldn't get my camera out or my phone out to take a picture of us. So we don't have any photo evidence of it. But it was a really fun interaction.
Right. It was one of those situations where you think it's going to be like very brief, like somebody's just walking past you and says hi, and then it ended up being longer, and by the time we realized that, then another family had come up, and so anyways.
But it was really cool.
It was cool.
Really fun interaction. We saw the closing show, headed out a little after midnight. It was a great time. But the reason we're actually recapping this now instead of saving this till next week is because Disney came through again with wonderful customer service for this event, Michelle.
Oh yeah, it was amazing. As we were leaving, they were handing us these little, it was kind of like a brownish gold trimmed card, and I thought it was just going to be like a sketch of a Mickey and his Christmas attire or something like that, and that is not what it was.
Yes, what it was a little note saying that your tickets for that night had been converted to a regular one-day park ticket that you can use whenever, or if you decide instead, you can convert those within the next calendar year into tickets for another event, like the Not So Scary or Very Merry or any of the other nighttime events. You can convert them, and they gave this to everybody, and it's automatic. The card was just there to show you that this is happening, and if you want to change it, you can call this number to change it to a different event or whatever. So it's just, we got lots of treats. We went on plenty of attractions. We got the fireworks show. We got a lot of cool stuff out of this. And we have still a chance. It's not like it was completely wiped out.
No.
Disney does not control the weather. It's not like Disney, decided to shut things down for the night. And, they really didn't have to go that far, but it really is total Disney that they did.
Yeah. We did, like you said, we did quite a few attractions after the fireworks, all walk on type of situation. We were there until after midnight. So they weren't rushing people out either. I'm sure if we wanted to do some additional shopping, we could have done that. We could have stayed
longer, yeah.
Right. So, it was impressive that in spite of being able to, I think we actually did, for the most part, we did everything attraction wise and saw what we wanted to see. And they did have the parade for the second showing. So, in essence, the entire night party was available. It's just that the beginning part was, an inconvenience with the rain. Like you said, we just decided to, we were soaked. Our shoes were like sopping wet and everything.
We're already wet. Let's just go on. Let's just do it.
Yeah. And we were not expecting anything like that at the end. And it was really impressive that they did that.
Yeah. So that's the reason we're bringing this up now is because I just wanted to, thank Disney. And also I wanted to thank all the cast members who were there. They were probably getting more business than they expected. There were people that were clouding a lot of areas. Yeah, they stayed in the holiday season. They stayed jolly all night long.
Yeah.
They had really great attitudes. Totally what you'd expect. And thank you to all the Disney cast members that made it still a great holiday party despite the crazy weather that we were checking out, which is Florida. So what else would you expect? But it was pretty interesting, and it was unexpected. I wouldn't have surprised me if they had kicked back, $25 gift card or $50, something like that. But to, basically give you, another whole party, that's pretty impressive for everybody. Everybody that went to there, that's pretty impressive. So, thank you, Disney. Great job again. So moving on. So we started our vacation at Bay Lake Towers. Then we moved over just a couple days after this resort opened up to where we are now, which is Disney's Riviera Resort. And we're very impressed by it right when we got to the grounds. I think you'd agree, Michelle.
Yeah, definitely. How it looks, a lot of the really interesting touches that they have. They have a mosaic that I think has touches. It does seem to me to be Mary Blair's designs in some of those mosaics. And just the whole ambiance here is wonderful. Everybody who's working here, you can tell they're excited to be here. And, we're really knowing that they had to deal with some opening challenges from time to time, went through everything, so graciously, so pleasant, and made it really wonderful.
Yeah, it's been really, really cool so far. They've done some things here that I have not seen done at a Disney resort, at a DVC resort. Let's just talk about, first of all, checking in. When we checked in, it's a little loose at the front desk. It's a little odd looking, actually. But once you check in, the people get they're like, okay, yeah, all right, we see you here. Why don't you have a seat on the couch? They have you sit down.
A lot of couches.
Yeah, and then they go and they gather up their stuff, and they go and they sit next to you on the couches and kind of go over all the details of your stay and everything, and make sure you have your magic bands and everything else is going good.
Yeah.
And it's really, it was really kind of a nice, classy touch, I felt, rather than to be standing necessarily up at a desk if it's allowed. Now, the lobby could be full and they might not have the couches open, but a couple times we've been there, they're just like, yeah, just sit down on the couch and we'll get this all handled for you. Right.
The lobby is, well, first of all, it's a smaller lobby, but it doesn't have those traditional booths where you check in or check out. It is a very kind of freestanding. They do have like counters that some of the workers are there, but they lead, like you said, is they actually walk away from that and go up to the guests and offer assistance, and so it can be anything, whether it's assistance with checking in or checking out. We had an issue one time with one of our bands, and so they were just there to come help and greet you in a very much more informal setting.
Yeah, it's really nice. They don't have like at the front desk, whatever the front desk is, they don't really have like the normal computer screens in front of them. Right. They have tablets that they're working off of, so it allows them to kind of move around through the lobby. As for the lobby itself, it's beautiful. They have this wonderful chandelier. It's laid out really nicely. It's not a giant. This isn't a huge resort. It's nice size. It's not a huge resort, but the lobby is not really huge, but it's really laid out well. It looks classic, European. Right. It's like I said, the chandelier is excellent, and really like a lot of the touches through the hall, some of the artwork. There's one area you go through. It's next to what's called the Voyagers Lounge, which if you go in there, they have a lot of old books and such, and they also have in these cases in there some actual stuff from Walt's trips to Europe, including the original doll, Mickey Mouse doll that's in there. Then you'll see some across the hall from that, a lot of old classic Walt pictures, and with his wife Lillian and the family there, and like one of them is with that doll, and that's on their trips to the Riviera, which they love so much. It's really cool.
Yeah, they have in case, and there is also a receipt of books that Walt purchased in Europe in, I think it was 1933. I may be wrong on the year, but anyways. And so you could see that he was purchasing things like Pinocchio and some of the other classics that he eventually made into animated films.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really, really, really nice space. And I like a lot, like I said, you were talking about the mosaics. The mosaics are spectacular. They have a Tangled one and a Peter Pan one that are just unbelievable. The pools look wonderful. We took them, it's been a little chilly, so we haven't gone swimming, but we did check out the pools a little bit, just kind of walked around. They have a lot of games out there. They have a bocce ball set out there. They have a giant chess and checkers set. I saw it today. The first time I saw it today was they had this like billiards, like giant billiards set that they put up like inflatable walls to bounce them around. Nice. The balls would knock off of it. It was just fascinating. And I saw somebody posted on social media that was here too, that they have like a radio controlled boat regatta in one of the pools in the morning. Sometimes nice. The kids can drive the boats around. So I haven't seen that personally, but I've seen some postings on social media that looks really cool. But the grounds are laid out nicely. Yeah. So convenient to the Skyliner. Yes. It's so easy to just walk on there, go to the studios, go to Epcot. We've taken advantage of that significantly so far.
Yeah, it really cuts the time from waiting for buses. You just walk up there and you're taking the next one that's available. And That's just fabulous.
Yeah, really great. And I would suggest anybody, if whether you're staying at the Riviera or not, if you have a little time and you're on the Skyliner route, want to stop off for a little bit and just kind of walk along the grounds and check out some of the Walt stuff and check out the mosaics and just scope it out and see for yourself. Really nice. We had dinner at Topolino's Terrace, which is the restaurant at the top that has spectacular views. We were just catching the fireworks at the tail end of our dinner last night, the Epcot Forever fireworks. I believe you could probably see fireworks from the studios as well from there. But it was really nice. We had great food, great service. I would recommend you going up there. If you're looking for a nice dinner, it's not cheap. It's going to be a relatively splurge of a dinner. But they have a nice extensive wine list, really fresh pastas. And it seems like it's a lot of Northern Italy, Southern French type cuisine. Yeah. It was really exquisite. We really enjoyed it.
Oh yeah. And one of the things that you even pointed out, the room was filled with people because we went on a Friday night and we were able to easily talk to each other without yelling or, saying, what? It was pretty nice how they had the acoustics set up that it could still be easy to hear the people you were with.
Yeah, exactly. It really was. It's a nice restaurant, and I highly recommend you check it out at some point if you're looking for a new restaurant to sample while you're out on your Walt Disney World Resort vacations. Now, for a couple things that we're not exactly crazy about, and I'm not going to nitpick too much, but the suite itself, because we did get a 1-bedroom villa for this stay, and while it's nice. And I guess we're spoiled because of Bay Lake Towers, where we stayed at several times, and they're spacious, really beautiful, spacious.
Exactly.
And this feels a little tighter. I mean, it does have plenty of room. Don't get me wrong, but it only has a lot of the villas have two full bathrooms.
Right.
This only has one, and that could be a little tricky if you're staying here with a big family, for example. If you have a couple in the master bedroom and kids, or even other adults staying in the other room or whatever, it could be a little tricky to maneuver in and out of that bathroom, I would think.
Right. I mean, you're right. If you're staying in if you've stayed in regular hotel rooms, yes, this 1-bedroom will seem very luxurious to you and seem very spacious. And they've done a great job with how they've utilized the space. So, for example, they have a trundle bed that is, like a single bed, and then they have a couch. It's interesting. It's a couch that actually the wall folds down into
it's a Murphy bed behind the couch. Yeah.
Yeah, but you don't move the couch and everything. You just pull the wall thing down. But so it is a real interesting and efficient use of space for sure. And in the sitting area, you do have, it's kind of a long couch, and you have a couple other cushioned chairs and things. So it is and the table in the kitchen area is very large. You could easily, have a party of 8 people here or whatever. Definitely 6 or 7 easily. But yeah, so it is, compared to another hotel room, it is a lot of space, but compared to some of the earlier versions of the Disney Vacation Club places, it is a smaller, and it does only have 1 bathroom. The main bedroom, is a large. It's what you would expect.
Yeah. We do have a great view off of our balcony. We can see Spaceship Earth. We can see much of Epcot right from our balcony. Right. And we didn't even get a preferred view. We have a standard view. So that's kind of nice. And, it's and we're in a 1-bedroom villa, and we're nitpicking about it. It's really nice. It's just the same, but we were just comparing it to some of the other ones. Like if you like Bay Lake Towers, there are some, I would say that, check your point totals if you're a DVC member and compare it to some other places. There are some places that are a little larger that are convenient, but this place is spectacular. It is really convenient, like I said, to the Skyliner. If you're going for festival season, getting to Epcot or whatever, or if you want to get to the studios a lot, it is really simple and really easy. We will definitely be staying here again, I will say, at some point.
Yeah, definitely. And we're anxious to even see what the studios are like. They actually have 2 different types of studios. One has a queen bed in it, and the other one, it's a Murphy bed. So it uses different point system through the vacation club. And I think the other little quirky things we saw is like some of the cabinets don't seem to be leveled, so that part of the door might hit something else, like the microwave, or you might have the oven. You can't close that door and have another cabinet open.
Yeah, there's a little fitting issues with some
Right.
of the appliances, it seems, with some of the cabinet space here,
Right.
but nothing significant, nothing that's really troubling. Just, and the other thing is that there's this fan in the bathroom that's like, you can't shut it off. It's just
Right.
going all the time. So you have to shut some doors to make sure like you can get some sleep at night. But
The closet door, when you open it, it hits, when you get to a certain point open, it hits the floor, and you have to like pull it really hard
Right.
against the carpeting. So it's just, again, leveling issues.
couple of kind of funny workmanship issues here, but I will say that they have some really excellent technology. The really brand new flat screen TVs that they're set up to do some. They have some on demand Disney movies
Right.
that are free to
right.
you to watch. Also, they're set up to easily cast from any tablet you have. You don't have to mess around too much with it. I'm not very good at casting from my devices. It was really easy for me
Right.
to put up Disney Plus on there last night, and just we watched The Mandalorian and
Right.
and watch some other stuff. So
Yeah.
really easy, and that's nice and convenient, and a little bit better than some of the older DVC places.
Right. I think this is, well, I don't know what the more recent ones at Wilderness Lodge are like, but yeah, this is, you have a little bit more selection within the TV.
So, very cool. Look, again, if you get a chance to stay here, I do recommend it. It is beautiful. However, more than anything else, just come out and take a look at it, because there are just so many cool little touches throughout the resort that I
Right.
think you'll enjoy artistically. And if you love Walt Disney, and if you're listening to us, you probably do. There's so much history with Walt that they've added into this resort.
Yeah, it seems like they were very respectful of wanting to incorporate that into the theming of this resort, and they did a fabulous job.
No,
and
cool.
and the color schemes are wonderful, and you can tell that they really researched what color schemes would be cohesive with that type, like you said, southern France or Italy.
Yeah.
And it really blends in well, and you see that in the rooms with the color schemes in the rooms, as well as throughout the the entire property.
Yeah, and there's nice little touches like the grates. They have these window grates outside the windows that are hidden Mickeys and even a hidden Minnie.
Yes.
Yeah, which is really cool. Just little stuff like that you'll notice as you walk through the resort, and it's really, really enjoyable. So
Right. And the lighting is really pretty and
yeah.
a little bit unique in the rooms too.
yeah, definitely check it out. when
Great
you get a
artwork.
chance. Now let's get to what you're really listening to this for, I would think. And that is our spoiler-free review of Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker.
It's an instinct. A feeling. The Force brought us together. We're not alone. Good people will fight if we lead them.
People keep telling me they know me. No one does.
But I do.
Long have I waited. And now you're coming together. Is your undoing.
What are you doing there, 3PO?
Taking one last look, sir. At my friends.
Confronting fear is the destiny of a Jedi. Your destiny
So yes, we saw this. We couldn't do it the Thursday night when it first debuted because we're at Walt Disney World Resort. We had some things that we were taking care of, some other plans. We had some fun stuff to do. So instead, we went and saw it yesterday morning on the 20th. So the day it technically was out over at Disney Springs, the AMC there, which is the first time I've ever been to that theater. So interesting. And it was, big crowd, great crowd. They cheered. They hissed. They
got into it.
They wooed when they needed to. It was a fun crowd. And let me just say, I'm just going to go right out the beginning. And I kind of tweeted it out there already. Look, this is what I like. This is Star Wars to me. It was just a fun ride. I don't know what you think, Michelle.
Yeah, I'd say the same thing. It did what it seemed its purpose was. So it tied loose ends from the past, and it brought and paid homage to the characters from the original trilogy. I think that it covered all the bases that it needed to cover.
Right. So we decided to go into this movie, or at least I did. I don't know what Michelle decided, but I decided to go into this movie and look, I just want to go in and have some fun. We know the Star Wars community has been really split. And I want to go back knowing this is the end of the Skywalker Saga. And since I did have the chance to watch it back in 77 when I was a kid, I kind of wanted to transform myself back into a kid and not just be so nitpicky at about every little thing. Just go in there and look to have a good time. Look for this amazing journey through space. Look for all the different families that are created, whether it's an actual blood family or the family that kind of because of circumstances becomes people that become your family because of that, and just enjoy the romp that is Star Wars. And I think that this movie was perfect for that.
Yeah, I would totally agree. If you're looking for the best storyline, if you're looking for an equivalent to Rogue One, that's not what this was for. But like you said, if you're looking to, reimagine seeing this kind of universe as you did as a child, or when you first saw whatever episode of Star Wars that you saw, this really touched on that, and it touched the heart too.
Right. So, was the story a little clunky at times? Yes. Was it too jam-packed a little bit at times? Yes. But you know what? I didn't care. I just had a great time. I laughed a lot. I cried at least 4 times in this movie, but that's me. I'm an emotional wreck. You know that if you've listened to this podcast many times. I cheered. It was just a wonderful morning/afternoon at the movies.
Yeah, and it was fun enjoying it with a crowd that you could tell was very much into it. I don't think I heard any moaning or anything like that. Everybody was really happy about, how it all played out. And like I said, I think the respect and reverence they played to the original trilogy characters, and just to the whole universe of Star Wars in general. I thought it was just really entertaining in that regards.
Yeah, it was just.
Yeah, I was just going to say, and again, fun doing it with an audience that was into it as well.
I get it why some of the critics are not, are rating this movie as not the best Star Wars movie. It probably isn't if you're just going to take it on as a single Star Wars movie and talk about on storyline and where it has some issues or whatever. But I think it's perfect for wrapping up. One, definitely the sequel trilogy. I think it's a nice wrap up for the entire Skywalker Saga. I think JJ did a magnificent job. Love the performances by many of the actors. I'm not going to get too much in detail into this so we don't spoil anything for you, but just had a great time. It's what I remember Star Wars as a kid, just having fun living through these people in this amazing adventure.
Right. And I would say this is one of the few Disney films too that most everything from the trailers made an appearance on the screen. Maybe not always in the right order, and maybe some of the conversations weren't as cohesive as what we saw in the trailer. but definitely pretty much everything that you saw there did show up.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I loved it. I'm looking forward. We're watching it again on Christmas Day. We already were planning it out. We're going to get back together with family for Christmas Day, and we have brunch with Mickey Waffles planned, and then we're heading out to go see the Rise of Skywalker again. And I can't wait to see it again. There's so many parts I want to, experience over again, because I think there's some interesting things that happened. And Michelle actually picked out a little tidbit that I like blew my mind a little bit the other night, and I need to watch that to see if what she says she thinks is happening there is true or not. So I got to check that out as well. And I'm sure eventually down the line, we'll get Rob LeBerry from the Jedi Temple Archives podcast on, and we'll do a more spoiler-filled breakdown of this film after we've watched it, another 3, 4, 17 times or whatever. But
right. And I have another parallel to Casablanca.
It always goes back to Casablanca for some reason. Star Wars and Casablanca, they're like the same thing. They're the same films, right?
Exactly. Well, I mean, we did know, as we talked about in the past, some of the, like Jabba the Hutt was actually designed with one of the characters from Casablanca. But there was something that occurred in Rise of Skywalker that was, to me, very reminiscent of something similar in Casablanca. I'm not saying it actually, scene for scene. I'm just saying that one of the things that happened, I was like, oh, that's pretty much like something else that happened in Casablanca.
Yeah. Really I just had a great time with it, and I hope that you can too. And that's the thing is, like, I think we as adults forget sometimes of what Star Wars originally was. And George Lucas said it many, many times. He said it just recently, and when they did the 40th anniversary at Star Wars Celebration, they went through it. He's like, look, this was a film made for like 11-year-old boys. Okay. That's right. What these are. So, and sometimes we forget as adults, that we go into these films and think they need to be this high, art thing. And then they need to, have these twists and turns and everything. And then it's like, no, you go with a kid and watch them take these films in. Everybody loves these different films. We grew up with the original trilogy. Mm-hmm. We were kids when we watched the original trilogy. We love the original trilogy for that. My son, Nick, you ask him, he'll still say his favorite Star Wars movie is The Phantom Menace, right. Which is, many people don't like The Phantom Menace, but because he was very young when that came out, that's right. his Star Wars. Yeah. Many people now, there's going to be many kids now that the sequel trilogy is going to be their Star Wars. Okay, right. There's very few people that come into Star Wars as adults. You don't just become a fan of Star Wars as adults.
For the most part.
It happens, but many people, most people don't. Most people pick up Star Wars as kids, and that's because that's who these movies are made with. And it should take you back to being a kid at heart when you go back and watch these films. And that's what this film did for me personally.
Yeah, and it's great now too that they have very strong heroine in there with Rey, and I think that was also a good addition to the newer trilogy.
Yeah, it was really good. I really enjoyed it. I think they did a really good job of tying the, as much as we talked about it just the other week when we broke down The Last Jedi, and there were a lot of things up in the air. I think JJ did a great job of trying to tie things together as much as possible between where Rian Johnson was going with it and where JJ had it going at the original film, and working off of it, and some things he kind of let go by the side, and some things he grasped onto and continued on. But either way, I think it all worked out really well, and I just think it was a really, really appropriate close to like I said, definitely to the sequel trilogy, but I think it was good for the entire Skywalker saga.
Sure. And you'll feel satisfied that some things got answered that were up in the air in the past. And seeing all the characters, that they have had over the recent times. And obviously we know that Leia is in there, that JJ was able to utilize some film that wasn't utilized in the prior ones. So it was nice to, look forward to seeing her in there as well.
Agreed. I think it. Unfortunately, I think there were some parts that got a little clunky with her because of the fact that they just didn't have her to play out that part, so they kind of had to work around some things. And but I still think it worked, and I thought it was important that she was in this. And I've said this many, many times over and over again. She is the hero of Star Wars. She is the base, the heart. She is the hero of Star Wars to me, and so I'm glad that she was there in some form in the final film.
Oh, definitely. And then also the original droids, R2D2 and C3PO in it. They're great. We saw in the trailer, part of the conversation there, and with C3PO, and all I'm saying is everything that was in the trailer shows up in this movie.
Right.
And so it's great.
It's great. Enjoy it. Go out. If you've seen it, go out and see it again. If you haven't seen it yet, and you're concerned because some of the critics are ripping it, and there is still those people that'll rip it on social media and whatever. And if you want to rip it apart, fine. Hey, if you don't like it, you didn't like it. I'm not going to try and tell you you should feel any certain way about a movie. But if you're concerned at all, if you're thinking whether you might like it or not, I would suggest you going to check it out and judge for yourself. And like I said, to me, my biggest suggestion, and this could have been my tip of the day, but I'm going to go just with it right now, is that go in there and remember what it's like to be a kid, and just have fun.
Yeah, you'll have fun with it. Yeah. Don't go in there expecting a greatest movie ever told, or again, if you're looking at some of the Star Wars films that were really great films, this is not going to be one of them in terms of story, but it's great in other ways.
Right. I mean, the story's okay. I think it's over. Like I said, it was just a little overcrowded, but it doesn't mean I didn't have fun with it all. I had a blast.
Yeah.
So that's it. Again, we don't have any Disney stories this week. I'm sure there are some out there. I could go through.
I know there's probably some really major things happening right now.
I don't have any for you. So we're going to skip over that this week, but we never leave you without giving you some sort of tip that might help you on your next vacation, like we're on right now at the Walt Disney World Resort. And we always start with Michelle, one, because she's just absolutely wonderful, and she planned this trip to a T. She's been great with it, but she always has the very best tips. So let's quickly get to Michelle's tip of the week.
Okay. I'm actually going to give two, because one of them I've said before, and that is don't be afraid to let some of your desires known to the cast members, because they really do want to make sure you have a great experience. And, take the time to say thank you. It can pay off sometimes, but, really, you're having such a great time, and even the little things are worthy of thanking them. Like if you get the location in the hotel that you had advance requested, let them know that you really appreciate it, because they are trying hard to make it good for you. But that's not my major tip. My major tip is actually related here to the Riviera Resort. And we know Topolino's, we said, is beautiful and it is pricey. However, one of the nice things is they do have a lounge there that, well, there's actually two parts to this. They have a lounge that you can just go up and have a cocktail and appetizer, or the full-on menu without a reservation. It's first come, first serve, but there's quite a few amount of tables there. In fact, they have tables near the kitchen in some of the areas that are fun to watch in the kitchen. But they also have a viewing area outside that has also a bar outside, or you can just go out there if you want without paying for anything and watch the fireworks up there. Now, they don't pipe in the music, which is the one thing that I was a little surprised at. You can actually see most of the fireworks. You can see Magic Kingdom, you can see Epcot's, and you can see the studios from that rooftop outdoors from Topolino. So you just, walk through and say you're going to the external lounge area. But as I said, it's got a railing up there that you can just stand and watch these fireworks without paying for anything.
Yeah. Really, it's a great spot, and I highly recommend it. And we may head up there after we get done with this and grab a drink ourselves here in a little bit, because it's really a nice space up there. So definitely, as I always said, Michelle has the very best tips. My tip is really quick. Look, the cast members treat you really well out here in Disney. They've treated us really well throughout our stay so far. We still have a few days left, and I'm sure it won't be any different, but we know it's going to be getting crazy here for the next few days. So take your time and be nice to the cast members. They're nice to you. They're trying to make you have the best trip possible. Be nice to them. It's really simple to just say hello to them, talk to them a little bit, find out where they're from, and thank them. Hashtag cast compliment is always a great way to thank them. Believe me, Walt Disney World does notice these things. We get responses all the time whenever we put those out there, and it does help boost these cast members as they progress through the company through working at Walt Disney World. Also, just fun things that Michelle does this all the time, and I think I've noticed that the cast members have been pretty tickled about it, is that she wishes them a Merry Christmas, a Happy Holidays all the time. And you just see the smile light up on their face every time she says it. And I just think it's a nice touch to them. They're doing that, they're working during the holidays. You're on vacation during the holidays. At least, it's nice to just wish them, a happy holiday themselves for being there for you to make sure your trip, your vacation, your stay is as nice as possible.
Yeah. I mean, even, when you're in the parks, in the restroom, the custodial staff there, a lot of times I think we just are rushing in there and out, and we don't really pay attention if they're there. And it really makes a difference when you acknowledge them. And, if it is a holiday time, wish them happy holidays.
Absolutely. So that's it for this week. Next week, as we mentioned before, we will be recapping our entire trip. I mean, we're not going to just, then we went here and then we went there. We're not going to do that, but we're going to hit all the highlights next week and tell you what we liked, how the trip went, maybe some recommendations for what you can try. We tried so many new things this week that we're going to discuss many of those things when we come back and we get back and we get settled again. We get our rest from our vacation, which we need because we're already wiped out. Even though we had that day where we took some time, we are already exhausted, but we have been having a blast out here. And so we're looking forward to sharing the entire trip with you.
Right. I think we're tired because you're an early bird and I'm a night owl, and we're constantly trying to pull the other one towards the other side.
It's worked many times for me being early bird has worked for certain things that we've done, and you being a night owl has worked for other things that we've done. So, but it's all been a very nice trip, and we can't wait to share it with you. So that's it for this week. We appreciate you joined us today. In the future, you can find us most everywhere you get podcasts. However, the best place to find us is on our own website, HyperionAdventuresPodcast.com.
And if you really like this show, you could truly appreciate a rating or even a review is awesome. And if nothing else, tell a friend or a family member about the podcast.
Right. And you can also follow us on social media as well. We have a lot of fun with everybody on social media. We're on Twitter at Hyperion Podcast, Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest at Hyperion Adventures Podcast. And if you ever want to contact us for any reason, please email us at HyperionAdventuresPodcast@gmail.com.
And don't forget to sign up for our newsletter.
Yes, please sign up for our newsletter. You can do that right on our website, HyperionAdventuresPodcast.com. Really easy to do. I didn't even think about this, but we hope you're all having wonderful holidays. It's Christmas week, so we hope you're having wonderful and safe. If you're traveling anywhere this week, we hope it's great for you, it's smooth for you, and it's safe for you. We really appreciate that you all have joined us in this year. We're getting more listeners all the time. The downloads are going up. We really appreciate you. You are fantastic, and we hope that you have a Merry Christmas and a very happy holiday.
Right, and a very happy and prosperous New Year.
Absolutely. We will be talking with you more next week as we head into the new year. So that's it. Thank you for listening to the Hyperion Adventures Podcast. We look forward to sharing some time with you again next week. Until that time, I'm Tom.
I'm Michelle.
And we hope that you have a magical week.